Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So I do apologize for the late video. Last night was actually my oldest son's high school graduation, so he is going to be moving on, hopefully to bigger and better things, unlike Gamer Dad, who's, just playing another Eden. Now that being said, we do have some celebrations to go with, just not only of course my son's graduation, but we are actually celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the producer of AE's global version. And not only that he wrote his letter of thanks, if you do click on it, and make sure you do click on it, you will read that they are not only giving us a one-time bonus of 500 stones, which you would have already gotten if you logged in today. They are planning, which is something very, very different, to finally catch us up from us being behind Japan by a few months in order to get up to essentially simultaneous release. Now, understanding that there are some translation differences and so on and so forth, I don't expect it exactly on the same day, but even if it isn't on the same day within 24 hours or 12 hours, that would be really, really interesting, because what is going to happen is that instead of us global players depending on Japan's websites to give us all the key information way ahead of time to beat down the super bosses with no trouble, as well as find all the hidden items and things like that. Unfortunately, Global is going to have to not rely on that crutch nearly as often, and have to hopefully contribute and work together with Japan to discover all the secrets of each and every release. So I'm a little bit excited about that. I'm also a little bit fearful as well, because let's be honest, it is a lot of work to find things on my own, as I've clearly demonstrated over the last little while. Now that being said, to celebrate the fact that we are catching up, as well as some other things going on, they did give us some new Fateful encounters. So this unfortunately is not going to be for free players. There are 3 Fateful banners mentioned in the notice, and we'll go over each and every one of them in tonight's episode of Shiju Summon. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So let's go right into it. We do have 2 Twin Destinies, and let's go right into seeing what is available. So note that one of these Twin Destinies Origins Edition will only have normal style and alters, or aka parallel time layer units, guaranteed to appear. However, just like all Twin Destinies encounters, they guarantee 2 5 stars minimum on the 9th and 10th encounters. You can hit 5 stars on pulls 1 to 8 as well, and those, by the way, are not limited to normal style or alters. They can get the ES, another style, as well as extra style, in those pulls 1 to 8, not to mention 4.5 and so on and so forth. So being that there are quite a bit of alters and normal style units, you can see that it's only 1.32% or so for each unit. And so if you do the quick math, and I know they're not quite exact, approximately 75 units in the game of normal and alters. We can scroll down the list. And remember, these are Faithfuls. All the alters, including the most recent alters, are in here. Beautiful Stranger Alter Shannon. And of course, no waifu, no laifus. Favorite alter unit Hozuki's right there as well. And other than that, the other units like these, like the AS, like Soras and so on and so forth, only on 0.02% chance on pulls 1 to 8. Same thing, you can get those bots, Rainbow Sisters and Knights. Okay. So the Rebirth Edition will not be those 2. They're going to be the opposite. So instead of having the normal style and the alter units, these one will concentrate on the AS and ES units. So another styles as well as extra styles. And if you do the quick math again, you'll get roughly 1 in 70 or so, maybe 1 in 69 of getting one of the featured AS and ES units. Some notables, of course, are Flam AS. There's also Nokoko AS, for example. Some of the newer ones, Hina AS, Yukino AS you've seen me use, Mysteria AS, and so on and so forth. There's quite a few other ones out there. Some are great, some are average, and so on and so forth. Okay. And again, note that the altars are not boosted because they're part of the normal style one. Now, remember that in the earlier one, Sora was not featured. However, she is featured here in the AS, as well as all the kind of 4 stars that are boosted and convert into 5 stars. So AS Seal, AS Foreign, AS Runa, and so on and so forth. And same thing as before, bots, rainbows, sisters, and knights. So, should you summon? Now, my stance on Twin Destinies is essentially the same as it always has been, although the message changes from time to time depending on the person listening. So, of course, there have been a lot of new players to the game. Welcome to Another Eden if you have been relatively new to the game. I've met a few of you online when you have commented on my channel. I know there are a lot on the subreddit as well. So, welcome to Another Eden. Hopefully you enjoy your stay and continue playing this wonderful game. And because of that, the message is a little bit different depending on where you are in the game. So, remember that Twin Destinies are paid stones only, but you do get 2 5 stars guaranteed with a chance of a 3rd or more. And so the fact that most Fatefuls only give you 1, you're already getting 2 for 1, which is really, really good. However, it's the same thing as usual. How many units are you missing? And which ones do you want out of all those, right? Now, for example, with the Origins Edition, I would usually give the edge to the Origins Edition only because some of the more powerful or recent units do not have an AS or an ES unit available. So you can see a few here. Eevee does not have one, for example. Yakumo currently doesn't have one. Minalka won't have one. Eva, if you really want her. Some of the global firsts such as Melissa. Flam does have an AS, but you can still get her in this way too. And remember that in the Origins Edition, it's roughly 1 in 75 of getting any 1 5-star, and you can get 2 of them, so let's divide that in half roughly. You do have a 1 in 37, 1 in 38 chance of getting one of the units you want with the 2 5-stars out there. So if you have no idea which units are good because you're really, really new to the game and you're willing to spend a little bit of money, I would say the Origins Edition is probably the better of the 2, just being that you'll get access to units you won't get elsewhere. Now remember that Twin Destinies feature AS and ES units. All the normal styles versions of those are featured in the Origins Edition too. So if you're talking purely unlocking the ability to eventually upgrade or side grade to those AS and ES units, and yes, if you're new to the game, you'll know I can tell you with certainty that as a completely free-to-play player, you can side grade those normal style units to AS and ES for free with some work, but certainly not gated like some other games out there where you actually have to use real money and pull for the right version. You can actually side grade it with free materials, provided you're willing to put in a little bit of work in the daily tasks. And so, again, for that reason alone, Origins stands out more. Now, if you're wondering why you would go for the Rebirth Edition, if you like a lot of them and you don't have a lot of upgrade materials, because, let's be honest, depending on what area of the game you are, you may be short on things like the chants or the treatises or the opuses, not the opuses, or the codexes, in which case you can opt to summon here. Now, I also look at the Twin Destinies encounters for people who are heavier spenders. This is a free way of getting 32 light or shadow. Now, I understand that if you do have access to the light Heaven subscription or the Earth subscription, you do get free light and shadow items every month, and if you have been maintaining that for a number of months, you do get quite a bit, in which case the value of these banners just to boost light and shadow is probably not as high as it used to be. However, it is still an option if you want to stock up on, for example, random extra items for light and shadow, or just want to top up a unit because it doesn't matter anyways and you're getting 2 for 1 in terms of 5 stars. So hopefully that gives you some idea. So again, to summarize it, if you're new to the game, go for the Origins. If you have some money and you're new to the game, go for both. Why not? If you're well off and you've been spending a lot and you really want to top up your light and shadow, go ahead and summon them both. For the most players kind of in the middle, I would opt to say that you really need to calculate how many units you want before decide to spend on it. As much as it is good value, it's not useful to you if you're summoning for units you already have and the extra light and shadow doesn't give you any benefit for yourself, so to speak. Okay, now let's move on to the last Fateful encounter, the Wanderer's Diary Special Edition. This is kind of summarizing chapters 1 to 6 and the units that were featured in each of the stories. You can clearly see the pictures here. Episode 1 featuring Orlea and ESMU, for example. Number 2, ES Lily and Alma. Number 3, Kale, as well as Cynthia. Number 4 would be Sukiya. Number 5 is ES Mariel. And finally, Yakumo in number 6. Let's take a look at the odds of getting those. Now, keep in mind, these are only available for a few days. So until the end of the 30th, which is like, honestly, just a couple days actually. So if you're going to spend money, do it soon. You do get guaranteed one of these occurring. So there's, let's see, 10 of them? Is that right? 10% flash hats. Straight. So very simple. Yakumo, Orlea, Alma, all the units that not only feature in the story, but many of them are extremely powerful as well. A lot of people swear by using ES Claude, for example. Alter Sakia is actually very, very good for fire. ES Mariel is obviously one of the newer crystal units, for example. And of course, you still have the Barrier Pierce of Alma, the preemptive Earth setting of Alter Shannon, which is our newest one, and the DPS brokenness with Kumos and Yakumo. Okay, so should you summon this one? It's the same thing as what I said earlier. I would say if you want, again, if you're relatively new to the game and you want to concentrate your money on a group of very powerful units, I think this is a very good value as well. Now, not all of the units are super broken. However, you'll never be disappointed with any of them. I think the worst one would be AS Lily, not because she's bad, only because you can grind out the materials to side grade her for free generally. The other 9 will have some use, and some of them will have a lot more use than others. Like even in today's meta, I think Orlea and ESMU and our Thunder team is still quite powerful. ES Mariel, haven't really had much experience with her yet. Alma, Barrier Pierce is essentially required in some fights. Yakumo, we already seen him in action. Kale with the Flexi Omni Zone is really, really good. Cynthia AS has DPS potential, but has some limitations as well. And finally, Ultra Sakia, one of our premier fire setting with a lot of supportive moves. Definitely worth the gamble if you want many of the units. I would recommend going for at least 5 out of 10 to rationalize spending 1,000 paid stones. Otherwise, pass on it. We've already had a number of review or catch-up banners for this one. Each chapter had a few days where you kind of chapter 1 to 6, and so most of you may have had the ones you already wanted, in which case, you know, this is really just kind of not really a cash grab, but certainly just to help augment those who really missed with their free stones and want to spend a little bit extra money to support the game. Okay, so that being said, as for myself, you know I'm free to play. I also actually have all the units featured in these banners anyways, and so I will be passing on pulling on this banner, of course. But let me know in the comments below how you did, if you're even summoning, and also what you think about catching up to Japan. That will be really interesting how quickly the banners are released or how the content is released, because obviously they either have to do one or both things. Slow down Japan's releases, which I'm not sure how they're doing. Increasing our speed, which is going to put a crunch and limit on our stones. Or combination both, which will be rough both ways. Anyways, back to the grind. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.